talk about something that's hard to talk about. Growing up around violence or being in a relationship where you've seen it up close. Hey, I'm Cole, therapist and school counselor, and on this channel, we make sense of the thoughts and habits that keep you stuck so you can heal and actually like yourself again. If you've ever sat in another room listening to yelling, objects breaking, or the sound of someone being hurt, you know that feeling in your body. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, and even if it's quiet now, that fear stays with you. And the truth is, those experiences don't just fade when we grow up. They shape how we love, how we argue, how we respond to conflict, and sometimes how much chaos we tolerate before we realize this isn't okay. I wanted to talk about this topic because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And also just recently, what used to be one of my favorite R&B singers when I was younger, Sammie, he was arrested a couple of weeks ago this month for, I believe it was cruelty to children in the third degree, and think domestic battery. So he was arrested and charged for that, but of course he was released on bond. And not to bring that up for the gossip or entertainment aspect of it, because he did come out, with a statement stating that the truth would come out and that he hoped that the apology was louder than the lie. And if you don't know, if you aren't familiar with him, like one of his biggest songs was I Like the Way You Look at Me. I like the time we spend, baby. But anyway, back in August, he had made a social media post that kind of looked like SI or suicidal ideation. He was basically saying that he feels like he feels death on him, but he's not ready to go yet. And so it seemed like an outcry for help. So that's why I'm talking about this, because so many of us are affected by this topic, whether, like I just said, we witnessed it or we've been a part of it ourselves. But even when you grow up, it doesn't stop impacting you. So when kids grow up in homes where there's violence, even if they're not the ones being hit, they learn lessons they should never have to learn. They learn how to read people's moods, like the weather reports. They learn to shrink themselves to stay safe. They learn that silence is safer than honesty. Fast forward to adulthood and those same survival skills show up again. You might find yourself walking on eggshells in your own relationships. You might confuse intensity with love or chaos with connection. Or maybe you're so used to fixing people that you don't notice when you're losing yourself in the process. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're conditioned. And the good news is conditioning can be unlearned. In any relationship, whether romantic, family, or even friendships, when things start to escalate, your first priority has to be safety and self-control. Here's what that can look like. Recognize your body signals. When your heart's racing or your jaw's tight or your voice is shaky, that's your body saying this isn't safe. Pause before reacting. You can say something like, I need to step away for a minute before this gets worse. Physically remove yourself if needed. Go outside into another room or take a drive if it's safe to do so. If there's physical danger, leave and call for help. You can reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline anytime at 1-800-799-7233. You can't reason with someone who's not regulated, and that includes ourselves too. Walking away doesn't mean giving up on the relationship. It means choosing not to feed the fire in that moment. Once things have calmed down, take some time to reflect, not from a place of guilt or fear, but from honesty. Ask yourself, do I feel safe emotionally and physically with this person? Do we repair after conflict or just repeat the same fight? Do I find myself minimizing the situation to protect their image or my hope? And maybe the hardest question, if nothing changes, can I keep living like this? That's a deep one. Love isn't supposed to hurt. It's supposed to grow you, not break you down. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit that love alone isn't enough to make someone change. Healing from what you've seen or experienced takes time. It might mean therapy, support groups, or simply learning how to sit with your own emotions instead of numbing them. You might have to unlearn the idea that peace is boring or that being loved means being tested. You might have to remind yourself that walking away doesn't mean you're cold, it makes you wise. And if you grew up around violence, it's okay to admit that some of what you thought was normal wasn't. That realization is very painful, but it's also the doorway to freedom. You deserve calm, you deserve safety, you deserve love that doesn't make you afraid. Listen, if you've been through this, whether as a child or right now as an adult, please know that you're not alone. There's hope, there's healing, and peace is possible for you. And as always, please keep showing up for yourself. That's how real change happens. Peace.